So to get back on the subject and look at what the Qur'an have talked to us about Jesus. To tell you a little bit about Jesus, God have not told us only about Jesus. He have told us about his mother and his family. And Jesus, as maybe a little different from the Christian teaching, is a prophet that came to the Jewish nation. Previously, God have sent prophets to nations. My understanding of it, my personal understanding of that, would be at that time, each community have grown and raised in itself. There was no phone, there was no internet, there was no communication, so people would not know of each other. So if God sent a message to one town, one nation, other nation would not be able to know as easily unless that nation adopt the message and the teaching and go out and tell everybody else. That's the only way of communication that you would be able to get that word across. So all the prophets have came to nations, and it does not mean God have made them any better because of blood or race or something special about them, except by their acceptance to that message. So if a nation will be judged better or worse than other nation, or when they receive that message of God, it's because they have accepted that message. So if a nation will be judged better or worse than other nation, or when they receive that message of God, it's because they have accepted that message and they have implemented in their life, and they picked it and went out and told everybody. If they don't do so, then that's the ultimate test from God to them, and that's where most of the nations have received the wrath of God and destruction, maybe. So in Jesus' case, God have sent him to the Jewish nation. So before the Quran prepare us to tell us the story, there is 3 verses in the Quran, and that is Al Imran. This is the 2nd chapter the 3rd in the Quran, and this is the name of the family of Jesus. Then there is a verse of Mary, and then there is a verse of Isa, Jesus. So the story of Jesus is repeated a lot. Now, just worth mentioning here, a point that's very important. Islam does not teach us to value one prophet over another. We are told as Muslims that we have to value all prophets equally. So today we're talking about Jesus, and this is a subject that we have to know more in the sake of knowledge. We're talking about Jesus, but I just want you to leave here understanding that Muslims don't make any prophet more favorable than others. We treat them all equal, and we learn, from their stories. So the Quran have stories of all prophets, many prophets, and the story of Jesus was repeated, at least in 3 verses. So the story starts, and I'm going to read it in the English in the Quran. The old English is horrible, so excuse me if I mess it up. Remember when the wife of Amran said, "O Lord, I have vowed to you what the child that is in my womb to be dedicated for your service, free from the worldly work, to serve your place of worship." This is the mother of Mary talking to God. Always God, when he sent messengers, he would send them from a very high family in society. So it's not like any person. This is a big, important family in their society. They're well off, and this is a woman that raised in a good family, and she's talking to God, and she's and giving God whatever is in her stomach to be for her service. To serve your place of worship. So accept this from me. Verily, we are the all hear and all knowing. Then when she delivered her child, Mary, she said, "O my Lord, I have delivered the female child, and Allah know better what she delivered." You would notice in this, and we learned from Muslim scholars, that she have she came to learn that what she delivered is a lady, is a woman, is a girl. So in some societies in the old days, girls looked on as not as good as boys. Boys would be more helpful or something for the family. So she felt not so good in her deliverance to God, her present, that she have delivered a girl. And that's what this would mean. And the male is not like the female, and I have named her Mary. And I seek refuge with you, Allah, for her and for her offspring from Satan and outcast. So her Lord Allah accept her with goodly acceptance. He made her grow in a good manner and put her under care of Zachariah. Every time he entered al-Mihrab, which is her place to visit her, he found her supplied with sustenance. He said, O Mary, from where have you gotten this? She said, from Allah. Verily Allah provides sustenance to whom He wills without limit. At this time Zachariah invoked his Lord, saying, O Lord, grant me from you a good offspring. You are indeed the all-hearing of invocation. Then the angel called him. While he was standing in prayer in al-Mihrab, the place of prayer, praying, place or a private room that he can do his prayer in, saying, Allah give you glad tidings of John. This is Zechariah is the father of John the Baptist. This is also the family of Jesus. So he was an old man, and he was did not have any kids. He couldn't have any. His wife couldn't bear any kids. So he asked God for a son, and that's where God have accepted his prayer, and because he was a good man, and He granted him a son. He said, O Lord, how can I have a son when I am very old, and my wife is bare? Allah said, Thou Allah does what He wills. O Lord, make a sign for me. Allah said, Your sign is that you shall not speak to mankind for 3 days except with signs. And remember your Lord much by praising Him again and again, and glorify Him in the afternoon and in the morning. And the story talk about how Zechariah appreciated God's gift, and he would not speak to people for 3 days as obedience of God. And remember when angels said, O Mary, verily Allah has chosen you, purified you from polytheism and disbelief, and chose you above the women of mankind and from jinn of her lifetime. O Mary, submit yourself with obedience to your Lord Allah by worshipping none but Him alone, and prostrate yourself, bow down along with those who do so. This is a part of the news of the unknown, the unseen, which we inspire you with. This is the story that Allah is telling Muhammad, peace be upon him, to inform him of the story of Jesus. So this is how Allah mentioned to us the story of Jesus through Sayyidina Muhammad, peace be upon him. When the angel said, O Mary, verily Allah give you the glad tidings of a word, be, and he was, Jesus the son of Mary. From him his name will be the Messiah, Jesus the son of Mary, held in honor in this world and in the hereafter, and will be one of those who are near to Allah. He will speak to the people in the cradle and in the manhood, and he will be one of the righteous. She said, O my Lord, how shall I have a son when no man has touched me? He said, so it will be, for Allah decreed what He wills. When He has decreed something, He says to it only, be, and it is. And He, Allah, will teach him the book, knowledge, the faultless speech of the prophets, wisdom, and the Torah and the gospel.